This week, David's away, so I'm testing Volvo's XC60 B6 R-Design. It starts at just a shade over 80,000, and with the extras on this car, it finishes up at a shade over $90,000. Gets a fancier audio system and all of that sort of stuff. But this is just packed with features. For a start, you've got the Thor's hammer design in the lights. The lights are fully automatic, as are the wipers. They've got rain sensors and light sensors. There's radar cruise control and 360-degree cameras. There's sensors all over the car, and this car even has clever sensors coming up towards intersections. It will also sense large-ish animals. The wheels look absolutely enormous. And I quite like the black pack that this has got with black on the mirrors and so forth. Also quite a decent sized sunroof, and it's got these profile rails so that whatever you put on it sort of fits into this groove and secures really nicely. As well, it doesn't have too much drag over the top. As with all Volvos, you've got these enormous lights. Now, Volvo was doing safety lights a long time before anybody else. Remember those old Volvos from the 70s and 80s? They even had the parking lights on all the time at the front. These go all the way up the side and along the tailgate. B6 all-wheel drive is marked clearly. Now, of course, it has easy opening with foot controls. There's buttons for raising and lowering the air suspension. We'll talk more about that later. And under the floor, the air suspension gubbins and a space saver spare tyre. The cargo net can slide up and out of the way, and then you just lower that to drive position. But with it fully open, you can see the seats go down 60-40, and there's a little ski hatch, as there is with most European cars. Cargo net at the side and a 12-volt outlet. We can close and lock. And what I like are these really sturdy built-in handles. Getting into the back is surprisingly easy. The door opens nice and wide. And you just kind of sort of step in. Now, bear in mind, I've got the seat set a long way back. The sunroof is full-length glass and has this rollback shade. And there's some fittings in here for those really clever dividers that go between the passenger section and the cargo section. There's handles on both sides, and these really nicely shaped, typically Volvo headrests. The most important thing in the back is the fact that you've got another 2 zones of climate control and another set of USBs. And not only do you have a set of vents in the armrest, but you've also got another set up here in the pillar, just above your coat hook. The doors, beautiful material. It's lovely and soft, and what looks like metal is actually metal. Controls are kept simple. And of course, these back windows have privacy glass. Both of the back seats have this clever little feature where you can just push that up and have a little kiddie seat. Of course, there's a whole bunch of ISOFIX and a rather nice wide armrest. So long as the key's in your pocket or on your person, you can use any of these little divots in the doors to lock and then put your hand in to unlock. The control buttons for the seats are down here. You'd normally expect to see that. There's your lumbar support there. But if you select, you can see that the front part of the cushion goes in and out. Select this little selector the other way, and it's the lumbar support instead. But also it comes up on the screen, look. There's some nice simple window and mirror controls, memories for the doors, and the door locks on the doors where they belong. Remember, this has got the upgraded Harman Kardon speakers. There's a couple of things that I want to show you inside. First of all, let me start it up. It's a twist. Have a look at this rather pretty kind of metallic closing door. There's one over here as well. I've got my phone in the phone charger, and look at this. This is rather like the one we saw in the Polestar 2. controls down on the console are incredibly simple. There is only a park and the electric brake and auto brake hold. This is something we've seen before. This is the Google interface. I went right through this in the Polestar 2 video, so I'm not going to go through it again. So I don't know if you can see it, but just here is the heads-up display. The fabrics and the materials are absolutely beautiful. This has been designed within an inch of its life. The steering wheel, exactly like the Polestar 2, with the speed and cruise control and so forth on this side, and audio and other controls on this side. There's a fully digital dash. Now you can see, apart from other things, I've got my automatic wipers activated and my fully automatic lights activated. They'll stay active until you turn everything off. These two buttons activate the fog lights, driving lights and so forth, and turn it up to park, low beam, auto, and then if you put that on, that's auto high beam, which is where we had before. Let's get on the road. You've got to push it twice to get it out of park and into reverse. Both my mirrors have dipped. I'm going to reverse back because I've got my seatbelt on. The handbrake will release. Again, 2 to get it into drive. Though it sounds a little bit like a sewing machine, I've got to say. This is such an easy car to drive. Oh, the other thing that I should have done was go into driving. Just going to... I'm just going to pop my suspension into firm. So there's no driving modes as such, but you can see now that I've got the suspension in firm. It is air suspension. Frankly, I can't notice any difference. Volvo tends to firm ride anyway. But the handling of this is just amazing. It is extraordinary. And the car feels so nice and light on the road. I'm going to try it in manual. Let's go down. I'm down to 4, shift across again. I really would rather have controls on the steering wheel so that you can keep both hands on while you're using the paddles. And also, it doesn't feel very natural going side to side rather than backwards and forwards. No, I don't like that at all. I'm going to put it in drive and leave it there. It's going to get it up to 110, which honestly takes no time at all. This has much more power than it actually sounds like. If I just press the center button, which is the cruise control button, it's now activated the cruise control, and because I've got it set up in the system already, the active steering is also on, so it'll keep me centered in the lane, stop me from running off the road and all that sort of stuff. Now the car is steering itself, I'm just steering ever so lightly, but like the Polestar 2, it does prefer the left-hand side of the lane. At this speed, there's just the merest hint of wind noise, probably from a little bit from around here, perhaps from the roof rails on top. The other thing is that, remember, Volvo is safety obsessed. They were the first to invent the 3-point seatbelt. Now, some say that they just shared the patent, others say they didn't patent it at all. Either way, they gave it to the world. Volvo claims fuel consumption is 8.2 or something like that. I'll put the exact figures up. I'm getting about 9.7, and that's because most of my week has been spent in town. Now, I'm going to try and do something that I've never done before. I've never used one of these concierge services. Up here is a button. Hold it for 2 seconds. Let's get it.
Thank you for calling Volvo On-Call Assistant. Please be advised your call will be recorded for training and quality purposes.
Welcome to Volvo, you're speaking with Ursula. How can I help you today?
Hi, I seem to be having a little trouble with my Google Assistant. I've only picked the car up a short time ago, and they said if you get into strife you can call the assistant, but I don't know what it is you can do.
Sure, so let me just bring up Volvo. And what's your name, please?
Alan Zervis.
Okay, are roadside assistance or anything?
No. There were two things that I was wanting and I wasn't sure if you could help me with either of them. Let's try the Google control. Hey Google, play me some ambient music from Spotify.
Got it. Here's a Spotify playlist called Ambient Relaxation.
So it's playing me some ambient relaxation. You can also do things like, hey Google, turn on entry light.
Alright, turning the entry lamp on.
Now, there is no one home, so I'm not freaking anybody out, but that's just turned on the front light in my hallway, in my entryway. But you can also ask the Google Assistant to do some things in the car for you. Hey Google, set temperature to 21 degrees.
Got it. Changing the temperature to 21 degrees.
And it changed the temperature to 21 degrees. You can also do it just on one side. Now that is the only time I've ever gotten any of those voice controls to work, ever, in any car. That's all this week from the Volvo XC60 B6R design. I like this a lot. I think it's a very successful shape. Remember, Volvo is going to be 100% electric by 2030. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just over there to subscribe.